Production of Broad and High is funded in part by the Greater Columbus Arts Council, supporting arts, advancing culture, and connecting the community to artists, events, and classes at columbusmakesart.com.
This time on Broad and High, we meet an artist and photographer who is bridging historic photographic processes with 21st century technology. Take a listen to high school students who are opening eyes and changing views within a unique training program. Watch Tibetan monks make and then destroy an intricate work of art made from sand. And we visit an unusual stage to experience a ballet. This and more right now on Broad and High. Welcome to Broad and High. I'm your host, Kate Quickle. Will Wilson has used photography as a language to express himself since he picked up his first 35mm camera. In his recent work, he's exploring what it means to share the portraiture process by slowing down, really engaging with his subject, and allowing them to experience the magic of film photography.
Well, I'm an artist and a photographer. I'm the program head of photography at the Santa Fe Community College. I grew up between San Francisco, California and Tuba City, Arizona, which is on the Navajo Nation. And my dad was Irish and Welsh, and my mom was Navajo. I think one of the reasons I was so drawn to photography, because when I found photography, it was like this language that enabled me to kind of express myself in a way that I couldn't linguistically. Some of the kind of early forms of photography that I was involved in, traditional black and white, I was really drawn to that kind of documentary kind of style, 36 shots to a roll. It was a different time. Now I use a digital camera all the time, but I am drawn to the historic process. So, in particular, some of the images you're seeing in this show were made with a process called wet plate, or wet plate collodion. It was developed in 1851 and was kind of the photographic process until about 1880. So first step of the process is to take this plastic off. With the wet plate process, it's a bit labor intensive. You're essentially making your own film. They call it wet plate because it has to stay wet throughout the process, otherwise you won't get an image. Step one is you get a plate, either glass or black metal, and you pour this stuff called collodion on that plate. Collodion pretty much sticks to anything, and it also has some chemistries in it that when it's combined with silver nitrate, and this happens in a dark room, right? So you pour the collodion on the plate, you take that plate to a bath of silver nitrate, you drop it in there. 3 minutes later, a emulsion has formed, a light-sensitive emulsion. And so at that point, you have to use a safe light or do this in the dark, right? And so you load that plate into a film holder, carry that film holder to the camera, and you've already kind of set up your subject and they're kind of waiting. You make the exposure, and then with this process, one of the great things is you can take the subject with you back to the dark room, and they get to experience the actual kind of magic of analog photography, right? And so you have that exposed negative, you take it out of the film holder, you pour a developer on there, and a negative image starts to form, and so you kind of judge that. And then you stop it with water, and then when you put it in the fixer, this amazing thing happens. And at that point, you can actually turn the light on. So it kind of does this transition, this magic transition from a negative image to a positive image. So it kind of becomes this foggy kind of, it's not something that you can read, and then out of that emerges this beautiful, positive image. And, you know, people are, I think, really moved and fascinated. And every time I see it, I'm just like re-energized. I'm like, yeah, let's go make some more. So with the CIPEX project, or the Critical Indigenous Photographic Exchange, which is what it stands for, I'm using a historic photographic process to kind of investigate portraiture, kind of thinking about what photography would be if Indigenous people invented it. You know, would there be a different kind of set of ideas, kind of protocols in relation to making someone's image? It's a fairly kind of intimate process, you know. I think there's a certain level of vulnerability that you kind of extend or offer. When I use wet plate, it enables me to kind of slow things down. It takes about 30 minutes to make one portrait. So I can have kind of a, you know, a slower engagement with an individual and kind of deciding how they want to be represented.
Pompey, years ago you served the people in the Pueblo Revolt in 1680.
I was also incorporating another technology, a 21st century technology called augmented reality, with this historic photographic process. Through the augmented reality technology, I have been able to bridge like this historic photographic image of her with her performance as a dancer, and I've called these talking tintypes. Will Canham is a violinist, and he did a rendition of 10 Little Indians, and he talks about like that song, that nursery rhyme's relationship to kind of a history of genocide. So, you know, you're kind of, I guess, moved by this nursery rhyme almost, but then like kind of hit over the back of the head with like what it's really about, you know. And his kind of reframing of it, I think, is, you know, it's a pretty powerful kind of expression of, you know, indigeneity today. I hope that people are really drawn in to, you know, a kind of different way of looking at portraiture. It's kind of unusual. There's a certain level of uncertainty with this portraiture. You know, there's these strange chemical like aberrations that occur. In terms of the Indigenous folks, hopefully people like are moved by like the diversity, the, you know, agency of the people. Yeah, and I mean, I think on a broader level, I hope that it makes people think about what it means to share the portraiture process with someone, slowing things down and you know, thinking about what it means to make yourself vulnerable, to make yourself like available to this kind of engagement. I mean, every time I have one of these kind of engagements or work with people in this way, I think it you know, it excites me to make more, and it just kind of propels the project forward.
Will recently had a show of his Critical Indigenous Photographic Exchange project at Denison University. To see what's currently on exhibit there, visit the Denison Museum website at denison.edu/places/museum. To see more of Will's talking tintypes, download the app and visit his website at willwilson.photoshelter.com. Next, we learn about a radio station in Dayton that is providing a safe place for young people to tell their stories. At WYSO, local students expected to learn about how to use a microphone, but have come away with so much more. Let's take a listen.
I'm not sure why I decided to put on my Superman costume.
My mom would always put me and my brother before her, even for the small things.
I love my skin. I love being beautiful. I love being black. But not everybody else loves it. I heard about Dayton Youth Radio through my creative writing teacher. It was sort of nothing like I expected. I mean, not that I went in there with negative expectations, but I was a little nervous towards the beginning. I thought my voice was gonna shake, but I got comfortable pretty quick. Through Dayton Youth Radio, I learned that I'm actually really courageous. I didn't know that I had all of this ambition in me until I went with it, until I flowed with it, honestly. And when I did, I felt like it was beautiful. It kind of made me feel empowered.
Dayton Youth Radio is a safe place for teenagers to tell stories about their lives and to talk about anything they want and to learn how to use radio equipment. I put together an 8-week program and became the founding producer of this series in 2013. Public school and private school teachers reach out and invite me into their classroom. Over 175 teenagers have come through this program, 10 at a time. That first day is so important to just build trust, and so we can talk about anything. Once you get past that first hour of being with a new group of teenagers, we form a tribe. It's an 8-week course. By week 3, they start telling me about what they would like to do with this microphone. Like, you have the microphone now, you got it for 3 minutes, and what do you want to talk about? They're writing scripts, and you have to tell the truth. It has to be about truth. Towards the end of the course, we come to WISO, and they do their narratives.
We talked about how writing for radio is different than writing for someone to read, and the importance of still capturing your audience and building a scene for them and making sure that there's enough detail that they can imagine the scene, but not too much that they're lost in it. My Dayton Youth Radio story was about my transition from male to female and about how I encountered the world differently than a lot of other people because I happened to be a teenager who's trans. Through Dayton Youth Radio, I learned that my personal story can have an impact on the people and environment that surround me. And even something as small as a radio story can really open someone's eyes and maybe even change their views.
What were you wearing? What were you drinking? What did you think were gonna happen walking home alone?
I guess what I'm trying to say is, love is the best Band-Aid you can use.
It bothers me that he never got to see me perform in Color Guard. He hasn't been able to watch me grow up.
The first year were pretty generic stories, but then I noticed the second year the students wanted to talk about deeper and deeper topics. And sometimes students would cry in classes. They talked about a subject that they wanted to do. And I had to look at my syllabus and said, you know what, I need more training. Because if a student's talking about losing a loved one, and then I'm like, well, this is how a microphone works, I wasn't being effective. So after the second year, I went back and got certified in mental health training for working with adolescents. I know how to make this place even safer now with my training, and then we could go deeper. And if you look at our series, the stories have gotten more intense, more personal.
It was almost like I was living in 2 different worlds. At school, I always had a lunch, yet at home, when we couldn't afford milk, my dad told me to pour water in my cereal.
One of the things I dislike about my culture is young marriage. My great-grandma got married when she was only 13 years old.
My dad, who had always had a job, had been laid off. Being laid off affected the way he saw our country, our community. Now he seemed to be talking about race all the time.
I wasn't trying to tear anybody down. I was trying to bring light to an issue which is important to me that I don't agree with. I was actually in Dayton Youth Radio last year, and it kind of inspired me to become interested in radio more and also just media at large. I go to Bowling Green, and I major in broadcast journalism.
Go ahead and hit pause. What we can do is, let's hold off on getting the bike sounds. Let's just finish it, because the bike sounds can always just be thrown back in. Like, it's not vital.
I go to Ohio State University, and I'm studying journalism.
And then what we'll do, if we get everything done before 2:30, we'll just go out, have you sit with the recording equipment like in your lap, and then just like pedal for like a minute of just like solid bike sounds.
My story was about a father that I did not know. Well, I knew through other people all bad things, of course. But it was more of just trying to find out who he was.
I want to forgive my father, but my grandma doesn't want me to see him. My grandma has not forgiven my father for what he did to my mom and me.
You know, I was actually thinking about this. Like, is this a form of therapy? And I think what's interesting about Dayton Youth Radio, at least for the stories that we've done, when they're really personal, they always start where it's opening up this wound, and then it kind of just lets that be. And so it doesn't ever solve it. It's not trying to solve it. It's trying to get you and kind of kick you to go and deal with your problems. And at least it motivates you to ask those questions that you might not have asked. Radio is a very emotive thing, and it's still something that can move people to tears, make people laugh, make people get angry. That's why people tune in.
That's what the listener hears when they hear these stories. It's a love and passion and an excellence. Once the class is over, I'm off to the next school, and sometimes I'll see the family, like at the mall, and they say, thank you for helping my kid tell that story. There's a lot of happy endings I've heard from some of these stories going on the air. I'm always in awe and just feeling blessed to do this project with the teenagers.
I understand the value of education and what not having one can do to your life.
I'm an aspiring meteorologist who dreams of being on TV one day. Yeah, I just said meteorologist.
When you have a dream, you shouldn't let anyone make you feel like you're not good enough. You have the power to make a difference. For Dayton Youth Radio, this is Jadon.
To find more about this program, visit their website. A group of Tibetan monks visited Dublin to create a unique but temporary work of art. They spent 5 days and used millions of grains of sand to create a sand painting called a mandala. In a ceremony after completion, they then destroyed it. This artistic process is a spiritual one, meant to symbolize the impermanence of all living things.
Well, we're in Kaufman Park in Dublin. What's happening behind us is the monks from Drepung Loslang Monastery are creating a sand mandala. And it's just an open process where you can view the creation of art before your eyes.
Our monastery plays a major role in terms of preserving culture, preserving Tibetan language, Buddhism, and so forth. And so this mandala is called Avalokiteshvara, Buddha of Compassion.
Before the mandala starts to take shape, they need to bless the environment and sort of bring in the good energy. So they brought out horns and cymbals, and it was just a full celebration of life.
At the beginning of constructing mandala, we do some chants and meditations and recitations. At the same time, we offer the sounds to the different Buddhas, and specifically in this case, the Buddha of Compassion.
This takes a couple days, actually 4 days to realize, so it's a real painstaking process, and it just takes a lot of care and precision.
This tool, we call it japur. We fill this japur with scents first, and then we begin release scent making vibration.
Well, I think this is the sort of the strange concept that life is impermanence and change, and so the sand is swept away and the design is destroyed.
So we hope people come here and see mandala, and we hope mandala can inspire them, to learn there's end of life. We forget that, right? So everything, we plan in our life, we're planning like we live forever, but it's kind of a reminder of that there's an end of life.
Learn about all of the events sponsored by the Dublin Arts Council by visiting dublinarts.org. Imagine you are in a park when classical music begins to play. Then you notice a couple begin to move to the music. Recently, the Miami City Ballet presented a series of outdoor pop-up performances throughout the city. Called To Miami with Love, each of these new works were inspired by a different Miami neighborhood. Let's take a look. Well, that's our show. Remember, you can find all of our stories online at WOSU.org, as well as on our YouTube channel. For all of us here at WOSU, I'm Kate Quickle. Thanks for watching.
Production of Broad and High is funded in part by the Greater Columbus Arts Council, supporting arts, advancing culture, and connecting the community to artists, events, and classes at columbusmakesart.com.